This ad, trying to make men more comfortable voting for Kamala, only reminds us what little liberals know about masculinity.
Think I'm afraid to rebuild a carburetor? I eat carburetors for breakfast.
Tell you another thing I sure am not afraid of. Women.
I'm not afraid of women. I'm not afraid of women.
Now this frame makes me think the ad is just doing a parody of masculinity, and they're just making fun of liberal men. But no, this is their genuine attempt.
I'll tell you another thing.
I'm man enough to support women.
And I'm man enough to help them win.
Now it does say this is not endorsed by either candidate, but the account's other videos also support Kamala's campaign. As the creators also directed skits for Jimmy Kimmel, made commercials with sports stars for Bud Light, and even bits for Amazon streaming services, as their website seems to plug exclusively Democrat activist groups. And his blog post about that alleged creatives for Kamala ad specifically states that the left is trying to promote role models like Tim Walz and Doug Emhoff, finding their footing with masculinity. That's why I think this new wave of liberalism is fundamentally incompatible with something like masculinity, as they're trying to shoehorn in diversity and inclusion into absolutely everything, not understanding that although masculinity can include anybody that exhibits masculine behavior, but validating every behavior for the sake of diverse representation alienates the people that are actually part of the group you're trying to attract, as whenever they try to pretend to be masculine, it never feels genuine. Like the time they had Tim changing his carburetor without a speck of grease on his hands. Then they tried to make a big deal about Tim Walz going out hunting birds with the men in his brand new hunting clothes, looking like he's never touched a rifle in his entire life, despite constantly lying about being a command sergeant major, when Tim should be free to be whatever this is. As the Democrats attract a certain type of influencer, while their voter base consists almost exclusively of this. Now there's no issue when they openly admit that's what they've always wanted.
Tim Walz being one of them, Doug Emhoff last night, who can speak to men out there who might not be the sort of testosterone-laden, gun-toting kind of guy.
But then they turn around and get mad at the reality they've made.
Why is it that the Republican Party is the party of guys who are, that talk about masculinity in traditional terms, that speak about courage, that speak about getting after it, that speak about taking risks, and the Democrats are announce your pronouns. Why? Why are they okay with all of
courage
this?
Only a masculine quality?
These are. What is the definition of masculinity that can be positive that doesn't upset the feminists? There's nothing. You say, risk-taking, greater tolerance for, dealing with like long hours at work, whatever it may be.
Men do the more dangerous jobs.
We do the more dangerous jobs. We do most of the fighting in the wars.
Right. Your job is very dangerous at this table. And I'll tell you why.
I did serve in 2 war zones for the CIA, so let's chill that out a little bit.
Watching that woman nag that CIA dude is just the perfect example of how the Democrats address the valid concerns of the traditional male voter, not through actually addressing the reasons why they lost their support, but with snarky comments and a certain smugness that only pushes us further away. And since the Democrats bet on girl power defeating evil MAGA masculinity, when the polls show it's a train wreck, they're now trying to rebrand that same off-putting girl power as the real masculinity. And that's why their ads targeting guys just look like parodies. Because right now, regular guys are choosing between this and a president that once beat up Vince McMahon at WrestleMania. So if you appreciate my concise, lighthearted commentary on the tragic status that is today's reality, hopefully I've earned your subscription, then go check out the video on how Kamala tried to look relatable by drinking a beer on TV, but then randomly rambled off with a new Jamaican accent.